Hey, this girl is hungry. Hey, before we get into, we're going to be talking about Spider-Noir episode 78. Did you happen to see the really, really bad Doomsday League?
Yes,
The like 3 pixel trailer?
with the big red X over it. So I'm trying to unblur it. I'm trying to see through the blur while also seeing through the X's. Yes,
Oh, like,
at
I
this point,
go
it
ahead.
just goes back to what you said weeks ago, months ago. Like, what do we gain by teasing? Like, and I wasn't against you when you said it, but I was like, oh, they're building hype, even though I agree they don't necessarily need to. But like at this point, you had CinemaCon, you had something like we are just
There was something in like Brazil, I want to say, or South America. I thought like
yeah,
Brazil, South America had one too. Yeah.
like no, like just give us the trailer. You owe us for some of the slop you've been putting out. Just give us the trailer.
Yeah. And then Spider-Man had another leak.
Yes.
And it's like theirs is dropping, I believe, on the 17th. I mean, officially, it's supposed to be dropping on, I think it's 17th or 18th, isn't that right? I think
At this point, I assume like if you want to wait, excuse me, until after Spider-Man comes out to give us the trailer, fine. But like stop teasing us. Like if that's what you want
right.
to do, which I don't know if that's their plan, but let's just say it is, then just like don't say anything. Put all of your time and effort and money into Spider-Man, and that comes out on a Friday, and then like on a Monday or Sunday, like give us that trailer rather than whatever else you're doing, or just give us the trailer and be done with it.
Yeah. It's very it's just very odd to um do this to the fans that are wanting your product.
A lot
Um,
of people have written you off, and there are still so many people that are like, we're standing by you through this toxic
right.
relationship. And you just keep disrespecting us.
And then to be like real gatekeepy and like pitting
Yes.
fans against fans because you allowed some to see it and some not to
Yes.
see it. So I
Yeah.
mean, like
We're not
you're like
media, so we don't get to see it as if we don't spend money on everything else that you put out.
right. It's just it's very it's just the whole thing about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yes. But let's get on to a better Marvel product, which is Spider-Noir. I did honestly, I just finished episode 8. Because I thought, okay, we're taping today. It's Monday, it's June 15th. Normally we would be taping on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Schedule didn't work out. And I had already started it. So I was already watching it. And I think I had like 16 minutes when you texted me and I was like, I'm watching this right
Yeah. Just sucks when
now.
work gets in the way of your passion.
Right? So I like, even though I just finished watching it, I'm still gonna be like pulling up my notes on like what I
For
just saw.
sure. For
Well,
sure.
like watching it and then maybe watching it again and reading some reviews. But yeah, so really did I have to say though, I really did enjoy these last 2 episodes.
Same.
Um, yes, again, I don't know of much they didn't clear up, finish, tie off, loosen. Like I'm not really aware of anything that's again like just coming off of watching it. Give a you might be able to better answer this, little a few days, few weeks removed from it, but I can't think of anything that they missed as far as storyline.
As far as storyline, nothing really. Like maybe small things where it's like it didn't affect the story. Like, oh, there were multiple POWs that were being experimented on. Are there others? But like that's not a we need
Right.
that answer. That's more of the door was kind of left open a little bit. Um Silvermane died. Spoiler alert. Um, you know, like so are the mayor and police chief like back on the mayor's side type of thing. Like the more I've thought about it, I don't believe there was anything that
Pressing,
I walked away from like,
right.
oh, we're still wondering about this.
You're like, oh, you opened the door about this and you didn't answer it. Like, I can't think of anything. But we've got episode 7. So episode 7 kind of is the fallout of, again, Ben escaping with the antidote, them setting fire to the lab. So obviously we don't have the doctor or Freckles is around anymore. And we have one little vial of antidote. One little vial of antidote, which seemed to be spread along a lot of syringes, but like that's
I
nitpicking,
said that too.
right?
I said the same thing.
That's kind of nitpicking. Like that's
Yeah,
like one of those where like somebody sitting there that's like counting the bullets, kind of thing.
right.
It's
I
like
also do
fine.
that.
So basically Silvermane sends his 3 goons to the Mayor Morris, his headquarters. They steal a whole bunch of money. We have Kat who visits Janet, who Janet does not know that Kat had betrayed Ben at this moment,
Correct.
which doesn't her. They're like, Kat's wondering where Ben's at. Janet's like, well, we're supposed to be on bait, supposed to have left town with you. So starts putting in calls to Robbie where he's at. In the meantime, Ben is at some bar getting drunk, and some guys stumble in who have been given money by the goons, and they start going off on the spider's age and saying that
Yes.
like we don't think like he looks like it's like a bag of laundry or something
You
like
should have
over.
stayed retired.
Yeah, yeah, so they're just trash talking him. And he goes outside, puts on his cast, and comes in and drunkenly beats them up. I mean, and I wouldn't even say like beats them. I mean, obviously he does handle them, but in a really sloppy way, but which is kind of comical.
Yes.
Like I appreciated it. Like I didn't be like, oh, you're showing me. Like, oh no, like I appreciated that it was like, yes, he was affected by alcohol, even though like I know that Spider-Man has a quicker healing factor. So but we don't exactly know how long he'd been sitting here drinking.
I thought that was one thing that crossed my mind. Chose not to harp on it for too
Right.
long, but that is something that crossed my mind of a lot of times with these superheroes, with their super metabolism or their healing, because being drunk is your body like dying. And
Sure.
so you would think that any character that has super healing either doesn't get drunk or hungover or like it doesn't last for very long. So like
Right.
when he was having this super zany noir fight, I remember thinking like, is he? But then I thought, you know what, Will, like you're looking too much into it.
Which again, but at least they do hold it that that kind of thought, that formula, that plot line, whatever, true because after he does fight, um, does he when he after he fights Lonnie, how he still has to take a like he's resting. Like when they're
Yes.
him and
Yes.
when Lonnie, Robbie and are all like Robbie's apartment, Lonnie asks like what's wrong? He's like, oh, just give him time, like he'll so we really don't know the recouping period of time that he needs. So it is possible, again, like we said, we don't know how long he's been there because she said it's been days. And so
Right.
we don't know how long he was at the lab. We don't know if he was weakened because he was sick or from being cut. And like a lot of things were going on with him at that lab
For sure.
that affects his drunkenness or whatever. But anyways, he does fight these guys. Robbie shows up and is like, uh, don't like basically Ben is threatening to take the antidote. He's like, let's face it, if you were gonna do it, you would have already done it.
Yep.
Like that's you didn't do it, but we need to go save these guys. Because clearly they're suffering from it in a way that you're not. Like they're being not only do they have it and they're dying, but they're also being exploited by Silvermane. Like whereas you are
Correct.
free and yeah, you don't like the responsibility, it still is your responsibility. These guys, their responsibility and autonomy has been taken away from them. So it's kind of like, let's
Yeah.
go save these
Spider has great power and a
guys. Right.
vaccine, so he has a great responsibility. It's crazy how that happened.
Crazy how that happens. Um, they go back to the investigate. They go back to their office, and Ben reveals, oopsie, that he's the spider, and
Oh, I
Jane's like,
love this scene so
yeah,
much.
this scene where Janet going like, yeah, I knew, and she busts on in on him three times.
Yes.
You know, like in his twice he has the goggles on, like once he has the goggles on, twice he has the goggles on, and once he's hanging from the wall. And each
Yeah,
time I
just
just,
hanging from the ceiling.
and
Also,
each time she just,
I love the light up goggles. You just
yes,
I
and
want those. I want those.
he's sitting there typing, and he's like, leave me alone. Um, yeah, like she screams the first couple times, and just this third time is not even surprised by him, and just kind of puts off the light, and it's like,
Yes.
and she's just like, yeah, I knew, and Robbie knew that I knew, but like you would worry if I knew that, you know, so it's just better that, yes, like you haven't been exact in all of your drunken states. You're kind of lucky that I'm the only person you've ever come out
Right.
to. Like, like you haven't been exactly keeping this secret close to your vest here.
Exactly. Yeah, your secret identity is not that important to you.
Right.
Especially at the I thought about that with the bar scene as well. It's like the bartender has to know, right?
I don't think he was doing like a great job. Yeah, so they, I know that the spider then takes on Lincoln slash Tombstone, and he's trying to save him, but the needle doesn't penetrate, obviously, due to his skin. And oh, I know that Will appreciated the fact that the one place Robbie was able to get him was in the eye.
I was I was furious. I like every show we've watched since we started podcasting, they just find a way to just sneak it in there. And I was like, all right, guys, every time, I
Like,
can't
this
do
one's for
it.
you, Will.
Yes. Ugh.
Yeah, so Lonnie is saved. He loses his powers, but oh, that's really kind of what he wants. This is
It's what he wants. It was
he wants
very
life,
interesting to see how quickly those cops turned on him when they realized he didn't have powers.
right? Right. Yeah. So they kind of all take on the cops, and they go back to again Robbie's apartment where Ben is recovering after all the fight. Um, he leaves town with his mom, so they got that. Now we've got everybody that was on the scene. Like cops were on the scene. They found the syringe, and also the goons were on the scene. They got another syringe because I guess there was two of the syringes at the time. I guess there must have been.
So, yeah, it was
The goons gave a syringe to Silvermane saying, hey, we found this at the scene and no
that was the
line.
bent one that they
Okay,
tried to stab him with, and then the second one was the one
was
that
running
Robbie actually got him with. So each syringe went to a
the
different
two different
side
ones.
of the
Yeah.
schism.
So the police turned the one syringe, the empty syringe, into the mayor and say, hey, you know, like we found this on the scene, no Bonnie. And we found, and then the goons get the bent one to Silverman and say, hey, we found this, and and there's no Bonnie. And they both, you see the mayor and Silverman say, you know, get me Ben Riley. Ultimately, as we go into episode 8, we find out that it is in fact that Silverman gets to Ben Riley first.
Yes.
And they make their way to, you know, like so they can capture, kidnap Ben and hold him there at the nightclub. And he's just in the fact is the Silverman wanting the spider or to contact the spider because he's wanting the antidote. Um, which is I love this whole scene where they're the yeah, they're little things, and I know part of it's writing, and I know part of it is Nicolas Cage's delivery, and it's when they're negotiating over the money, and he's like, the first number can have a 5, but the last it shouldn't end with 100.
Nick Cage being Nick Cage is my favorite thing. Truly, just when he really gets into a character and just gets comfortable in that character, it doesn't matter what I love it. I love it so much.
I would love for him to get an Emmy nomination. I mean, like obviously, I don't think he's going to win for this, but it would be fun because I want him to take on more roles on screen and
100%. Like I
on
said,
TV.
yes, I wish that whoever his nephew, his son had shown him Breaking Bad sooner because
Right.
this show, like, I understood his mindset
Right,
But it's also crazy how like you've been in this industry for so many years and none of your actor friends were your agent, no one was able to convince you that like no, you can do cool stuff
right.
with a series. It was you watching Breaking like that that is what convinced you, not
Uh-huh.
anybody else in the industry.
Right. Yeah, it was just I just loved his whole interaction where like we have Superman pulling a gun on Cat and saying like, I'll shoot one thing the spider can't handle because um Dirk says, I remember you from the POW camp and I
Yes.
think and then Superman gets suspicious saying, well then you must be the spider or like I'm gonna make you prove the thing the spider can handle is innocent lives being lost supposed to go on the cat. Cat's like, listen, he's not gonna shoot you because I broke his heart. She confesses everything. Her love for Flint, her love or her assassination attempt, everything shocked and really the only thing that saves her at that moment, but we'll get to that in a second, because we're fast forwarding past. I do love the phone call that he
Oh
makes
my
to
God,
the
yes.
spider. Ben Riley calls
Oh
the
yeah,
spider
yeah.
and Robbie Robertson. Is it Lamorne
Yes.
Morris? Yep. Picks up the phone and he's pretending to be Nicholas Cage, Ben Riley, the spider. Janet is standing there with him. She's like, well, "What are you doing?" And he starts going very.
Cast
But
Lamorne Morrison, cast Lamorne Morrison, everything, everything. I don't care. Like I want him on my TV screen all the time.
it does such a good and in fact like you think it's like okay he's doing a good Nicholas Cage impersonation until you he shows up as the spider and he does an even better one.
Incredible.
Now that is what saves Cat when after
Yes.
Cat confesses everything Superman is about to shoot her when Robbie shows up as this dressed as the spider.
At this moment, Ben Riley's powers are not working also.
Yes, he keeps trying to flick his web to get the gun away from Silvermane as he's about to shoot her, and nothing is still working. He's still very, call it inebriation, along with being tired. Like, just can't get that moment. Kind of thing. He's got kind of whiskey web at the moment. We'll call it
Uh,
whiskey web.
yes, he was
Um,
Whiskey Web.
he's suffering from whiskey web. He just can't get those powers working at that moment. He's a little tired, a little drunk. Things aren't
Guys had a
working.
long day, okay?
A
Gosh.
long
Saving
day.
innocent lives just wears
You
you
haven't
down.
seen him sleep once.
Right.
So again, Robbie shows up as the spider and does an even better, um, especially when he does it. Oh, I
Yes.
forget exactly what
Yes.
the line is, but he's like, you got forgot one thing. It's like, oh, it's my perfect. Like
Yes.
top tier, amazing. The hand gestures, the Nick Cage's wiggle, zoning out, anxiety,
It was
tension.
phenomenal. Like truly, and I know it was only like 30 seconds, but one of my favorite parts of all 8 episodes was like literally, well, I guess longer than 30 seconds, but like
A
from the
lot of
moment Nick Cage called him
yes,
until the moment he gets there and starts like that 2 minutes cinema. Like that was so good.
yes. These oh like again, if you haven't watched it or if you have, just go back and like find that clip again and just enjoy it and just really
Yes.
take on how good of an impersonation he's doing because he's not only impersonating Nick Cage, he's doing Nick Cage's version of the spider
Yes.
drunk kind
Yes.
of as well.
That was a
Like,
layered impersonation.
yes, I mean it's just so good. But Dirk goes up to well, like Janet's found outside holding the antidote, and I mean rightfully Lamorne, what's called Robbie is saying like just think about bringing it like that's crazy. I would have brought it would have like some
Right.
security like so the antidote is taken. He's injected with some, but it's not going to affect him because he's not the spider. And then
Or was he?
right, Megawatt
It's
shocks him a little bit, but not enough to kill him, thank
right.
God. Um, and at this point, then Megawatt kind of turns on Silvermane. He's like, I don't like, I'm not going to give you the antidote. Like, we have the powers. Why are we answering to you? So again, confusion and a lot of tenseness is happening with everybody in this bar that's going on. Ben is still trying to get his web shooters.
Yeah.
Um, right. So a fight start because eventually he does get his webs shooting.
Yes. Eventually, he was able to
Right.
perform.
That's right. And release a web
Yes.
and
Yes.
releases his web and gets the antidote from Megawatts and a whole fight, kind of starts. And it quick he's thrown over the bar where Robbie and Janet are, quickly switches costume with Robbie and gets outside, which is kind of funny that he would have to do that behind her because, like, at this point, we know, like, everybody in there has seen you shooting webs. We know you're the spider. They pulled Robbie's mask up, like, clearly. So,
At that point,
anyways,
I knew that everyone in that bar that was a bad guy was going to die because he
right,
had to, like, which, I mean, it doesn't take away from it, but in that moment, once he got his webs, he was able to perform and he was able to use his webs and all of
right,
that. I was like, okay, so they all have to die now.
right,
Like,
right, because that word can't, you're right, that word can't spread because then you
yeah.
can't keep people alive. So, Cat takes on Silvermane, ends up shooting him. Um, because she just knows, like, there's just no life for me and with me and Flynn if this
I'm
guy
glad
can.
she was the one to do it. Like, him and
Oh yeah,
Ben Riley and Silvermane had their back and forth.
right,
I thought maybe Sandman was going to be the one to eventually do it. At one point, I thought Megawatt was going to, if he quit monologuing. But I think Kat being the one to pull the trigger, I was glad that she was the one to close the book on that chapter.
right, yes. Um, Ben is fighting Sandman and Megawatt out on the street. Cat jumps in to try to save Ben. She gets electrocuted. That's when Sandman turns on Megawatt. Megawatt starts to turn him into glass, and it's just really just kind of out of control with power.
I did
Um,
appreciate that turning Sandman into glass because in the movies, the games, like that's
right,
how you beat him a lot, and using his electricity power, like I thought that was a good touch, although his hand should have been gone forever, but whatever.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, the spider does end up pulling Megawatt off of Sandman before he completely kills him and throws him into a subway. Everybody's cheering. They find Megawatt finally gets in the claws. Um, so obviously there's only one, you can see that coming, there's only one antidote left, and so he sacrifices his to get to let Cat give it to Sandman so they can live happily ever after. Um, you do see them at Silvermane's funeral. I do appreciate the fact that him and her did not have a "here's looking at you, kid" and like a good standoff.
Yes,
Like, he's like, don't try and, like,
I'm glad he called her out, and I'm glad she reacted the way she did.
right, like, he's like, she's like, we would have been together in another world, and he's like, I'm not even upset that you turned me down, but to try to keep me on the line for you
Yes,
when you clearly are walking away with him is
yes.
a dick move. So, and she's just like, screw you, and walks off. So
I
they
was a
have
little
their,
surprised how few people showed up to the funeral. Like I realized he
sure,
was a mobster. I realized he wasn't a good guy, but like two
he was
people.
left.
Oh, okay, fair.
I mean,
Yeah, that makes sense.
the mayor wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, the mayor wasn't going to show up. Okay, no, I guess that does make
And
sense.
all of his goons are dead. I mean, even
Yeah,
the other two freaking frat ones, aren't they? They were going. I don't know, like the two that pulled
what
Jamie
happened to
down.
them?
Oh,
Yeah, whatever. We found the
um,
plot hole.
right. I don't know if they were killed in the bar scene or not. I don't know if they
Yeah,
were. Um, but we see then Ben's back in the office, and it's now Riley and Marie's investigative team. Robbie has his own newspaper. The little boy is still being schooled. The desk is finally being fixed, and we see them finally getting his hot dog and the show. And I really have to say the only thing that, if there is any kind of irritation, about the show, it was just Megawatts talking.
Yes.
And he irritated me and maybe he was supposed to irritate you as a character because you just kind of like he's the one you're gonna want dead by the end of it, like it
Yeah.
makes his death a little bit more satisfying. Where it's like you really kind of don't want to see Sandman and or Tombstone die because they're kind of just victims of their own, you know, they're they are victims, just victims of the circumstance of being experimented on, then being exploited. I mean, not that you're supposed to be like crying over them, but you at least
Right.
are okay with them living.
I was okay with them living. I will say, and the comics in different versions of it, and this goes back to being a beautiful thing where you can take stories in different directions. But one thing that I'm not tired of, but sometimes I like a villain to be a villain. And I realize we've gotten all these different movies and shows where they show different perspectives, but I feel like there are so many things now where you're
Mm-hmm,
supposed to come out the other side and like feel bad for the villain. And they
mm-hmm,
did it with this one, but they kind of stuck true to the character things where Flint didn't really want to be a bad guy. Even in the Tobey Maguire ones, he was kind of doing stuff for his daughter, and then Tombstone, he eventually kind of does lean into his evil side in the comics, video games, movies. But originally, he's like, no, I'm just trying to make a living in Brooklyn or Harlem, wherever. But you look at Maleficent, you look at these guys, you look at um, Suicide Squad, you look at Creature Commandos on DC on HBO. Like every episode of that show was showing you how these bad guys are actually not the bad guys, and sometimes you need an episode like The Penguin where it's just like, hey, this is a bad guy. Oh, but he cares about his mom. He cares about Vic. Nope, never mind. He is strangling Vic in the middle of the park. That's a bad guy. Like sometimes you appreciate a bad guy being a bad guy. Not to say that I did not like what they did with these characters because I
sure.
really, really liked the story they told using their powers. And again, they took a different route where they were victims in the sense of they were prisoners of war that were experimented on. Then they came back, but you do see two sides of the coin. One of them came back and decided to be a reluctant superhero. The other ones came back and decided to work for Silvermane. But again, they were exploited, so you kind of start feeling sorry for them. But I appreciate the way that they told the story for them, so I'm okay with it. I have no real beef with it. I will just say sometimes let your villains be villains. Sometimes, as soon as I start to
Sure.
sympathize with the penguin, strangle a kid.
But you have to look at it, like Megabot was allowed to be a villain.
That is true.
I mean, they did. He just
Change his voice, but
hated his voice, hated him talking. Like he's just. I loved when Flint Marco one was like, "Do you ever just shut up?"
yes, that
Like,
was the audience saying that.
and so it's like I understood that that's kind of why they had that characterization for him because when
Yes,
you kind of like just let this guy die, like and so like it is a little bit of a payoff for the audience to have the villain die, and
get hit
both
by a
the
train. Yeah,
villains died. You have Silvermane died, and you had Megabot die.
for
So
sure.
the two that were like hardcore villains got their comeuppance at the end.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I
And I
said,
mean,
those
Tombstone was very reluctant. Tombstone was the last one to do it because, like, Flynn, he was there, but you could see throughout the episodes he was there mainly for Cat, and
right,
he just needed like no one else would accept him. Silvermane, credit to him, didn't really care, but it was also like he was using them. And then
right,
Tombstone, he was off minding his business, so he really was a reluctant villain. So
you're
it's like
right,
I wasn't like angry, like they set him up to be a reluctant villain, but
right.
it, but that is my qualms with villains in general.
I 100%, I 100% agree because like sometimes it's like don't give them all that. Like that's they don't all need
James Gunn's
like
about to make Darkseid a sympathetic figure.
right. Like yeah, like I don't like I under I what I appreciated even though like Thanos had a reason in his mind justified. He still there was no good like still no goodness in him. Tortured
This
both his
man threw his
daughters,
daughter
killed
off the side of a
right,
cliff.
killed one, tortured the other.
Yeah,
Like was killing people. Like no matter how justified he thought it was, like it was good to just he was still just
You were able to see his side of things without making him a sympathetic, oh, we should be rooting for this guy. It's like, oh, I see why you're evil, but you're still the bad guy.
like Killmonger, you know, like it's
Yes.
yeah, like
Yeah.
okay, you know, you get your reasons, and
Yeah.
maybe if you were a little bit more rational and not crazy and psychotic, that
Yes.
we could talk about this, but you were
Yes.
in the psychotic, so you
Exactly.
die. So like you have to like that's not
Yeah,
that
for
you're like
sure. Exactly.
right. You can do terrible things. You can
Yeah,
do
so that's the line, the bar for me is give your villains don't need to be evil just for the sake of being evil because I love evil. Give them, you know, some they like you make some good points. Like you make them make some good points, but like you're still the like make
right.
them the villain.
Your acts do not line up with whatever your like your reasonings are not
Yes.
actually your acts of how to get there. Like super bad. Like
Yes.
that's not good. I don't want you to have a soft side at all. Like I you can
Exactly.
have rational reasons, but don't give me a soft side. It'll be like,
Yes.
oh, I feel bad. Like I get what you're saying, like with Maleficent and stuff like that. It's like we she was still shown to have a soft side in that movie, which is fine. I mean, like it's fine. It's a different take on that character.
Yeah.
But there were no, even when you thought you saw a soft side with Thanos, you didn't.
No.
Like, because, like, you know, he still killed them. And like I said, still killed the one, tortured the other.
Exactly.
There's no happy
And
that
that's why I
happens.
loved what they did with the penguin. Absolutely loved it because you could see, like, yeah, he felt forgotten about. And look, the elites in Gotham are not good guys. Like, you're thinking, like, oh, he's waging war against the elites in Gotham. So it's like, okay, he's making some good points. But, like, throughout the episodes, like, no, this, like, he's not a great guy. He's not a good guy. And then he's, like, willing to let his mom die in that situation. And then with Vic, like, the nail in the coffin, which still phenomenal show. Just talking about it makes me want to go back and watch it again.
Right.
But like they drove the point home of like this is not a good guy.
You know, this is not like we shouldn't. You can like him. You can like the character because it's so twisted and dark and so well written. But yeah, no, I like I said, just Megawatts his whole characterizations, um, and
Was
the
not a
way he
fan.
played them just got on my nerves. So like that's again such a small minor thing I think in this show because everybody else was so good. And like Brendan Gleeson is just so good. Like I love watching him and everything. He's
Yeah.
it, you can put again, you can put him in just about in any movie, anything, and he's another one that he's his nepo babies are going on to make great stuff. So
Yeah. No, it's they nailed it with the casting and we're all on the same page with Megawatt. I think like me, you, New
right,
Rockstars, people on Twitter. He still did a good job with the character. I just don't like the not the
right,
direction, but like the way that he portrayed it.
right,
But the casting for this show, starting with Nick Cage, phenomenal.
yes,
Obviously Lamorne Morris, Lee Jong
yes,
Lee, Karen Rodriguez, like just they didn't miss on the casting. It was
mm-mm.
just one of the great actors that you hired chose to portray a character a certain way that I absolutely hated. It was nails on a chalkboard. It wasn't
Right,
him. It was what he
right.
chose to do.
Right. Unless he chose that and you were like, didn't have any control over him. Like
Right.
that's, but again, so minor with that's such
Yeah.
a
Oh yeah.
who cares because he's the villain and dies in the end
Yeah.
anyway. So like, who really cares because we don't see anymore. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed that show. Oh, you know, we have not mentioned this, but the theme song. I loved that theme song.
Yes.
I was one of the few theme songs I let play every time. I never skipped
Yeah.
through it.
I skipped it once and it wasn't even on purpose. I was pausing it to like look at something on my phone, but it was like, within that 5 seconds or whatever where it like
Right.
pops like, oh, skip. And I went to hit pause and it skipped it. And at that point, I was like, I'm not going to go back and watch it. But
Sure.
so I watched it 7 out of 8 times.
So good. That so catchy.
Yes.
So her voice is great. I believe the artist is Kirby.
Yes.
And it's called Saving Grace, and obviously it's on Apple Music. But so good. I thought it fit the show perfectly. It was just one of those few things that like we had never mentioned that, and I personally just I loved it
Yeah.
every time. So yeah, overall really happy with the show. Yeah, good summer surprise.
It was a yes, it was one of those ones that we knew it was coming, but there wasn't a lot of hype around it.
Sure.
And like I had said previously, I was a little bit worried because when they first announced they're doing Spider-Noir, I thought, well, not needed, but okay. And then you find out it's a different universe, and I was like, oh, okay. But this has been like you said, a nice summer surprise. That's the best way to describe it. I really, really enjoyed this show, and it holds me over until I get my heart broken on Sunday.
And look, I mean, again, we can't say enough that casting Nicolas Cage for this and letting him play this and letting him the artistic freedom of how much ever he was allowed in this, so good. It was such a good
Yes.
decision. And I'm so glad he signed on for it. I'm so glad he agreed to it. Just so good. And like just once again, the cast was phenomenal and the more should do more. I
He
hope we
actually
do.
has an Emmy. I forget what it's for, but he has been getting cast a lot in
It wasn't
movies
a
and
new girl.
no, it wasn't Fargo, maybe?
Oh, did you ever see that season?
I didn't. As soon as I said it, I was like, she's gonna ask, and I'm gonna have to disappoint
I'm
her.
gonna have to be like, no, I didn't. But yeah, that's he's I,
Yeah,
yes,
he got it for outstanding supporting actor in a limited anthology series or movie, and he got it for North Dakota Deputy Whit Farr on FX's Fargo.
so good. Side note, Fargo is one of those shows that you can pick up any season and watch. You don't have to watch starting with season one all the way to the latest one or the last one with John Hamm. You don't have to do that. You can pick up any season anywhere, and they do connect in ways that they're like Easter eggs or like, oh, I know that this was mentioned earlier, but it's not integral to the story for you to know those other seasons in order to enjoy
Gotcha.
every season. So highly, highly recommend watching those because the stories and the cast that they have in it are those they're so good. And proof positive, giving him an Emmy for something like that. Highly deserved. Um, so yeah, we leave up with that. We've got Spider Spider-Man coming out next week. No, Supergirl comes out next week.
Supergirl comes out next week, which
Supergirl comes out next week. House of the Dragon starts on Sunday. It's gonna be bad. Not bad in a bad way, but like
emotionally,
yeah, the first episode's gonna be yeah. I'm gonna have to part of me is like, should I just watch a recap or should I like try to like watch like restart like watch all of them? But there's no way.
I wondered about that. I wondered about that.
You know,
I don't know. I don't know. I thought about it, but if I was going to do that, I think I would have needed to start it
yeah,
two
I
weeks, two
know.
weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Right? Yeah, so good. We got, like I said, that I don't even like to talk about when House of the Dragon ends the season because then to me, like it's already August and you're
Yeah.
it's like August when this season ends. It's like August something. And I'm like, that's fall.
Yeah.
And now we're talking it might as well be so, but that's me. That's how fast forward. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna get like 2 months of hot.
Right.
So
No, I need this. Is this like I spent so much time outside this weekend, especially yesterday. I felt alive again.
fell asleep outside.
Me
And
too.
super red.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna end that one here. We hope you like the show. If you haven't checked it out, you really do need to. Even though like yes, of course, obviously we had spoilers and all of this, but you really need to see these things played out. Like you really need to enjoy it and enjoy seeing Nick Cage in a television anthology. I hope they do another season of this. I would love
Agreed.
to see him again. Yeah, so we're gonna end it here, and next week you'll pick up the womp womp.
Yeah.
Bye.